Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to run you through 9 things that I stopped spending money on so my business made more money. And I think most of these could apply to you regardless of what type of business you run or where you're located in the world. So let's just start off with number 1, and that is office space. Now in my last business, we ended up moving every couple of years as we outgrew the space that we had. And whilst we had lovely offices, and it was great to show these off to customers, we didn't need all the space. Now in fact, what we should have done is either go to totally remote with no offices, or had smaller offices and allowed our staff to work from home a few times per week. Now, this will of course depend on your own opinions on remote working, but once you do start adding up the cost of rent and utilities, insurances, security, service charges, government rates, and just everything else that comes with having an office, it quickly becomes a very large expense for you each month. And this is something that I'm very mindful of as this kind of new business grows. I'm actually starting to look for office space now so I can move this studio somewhere else, but I only need it to shoot videos. It's basically going to be a film set, and I'm only going to need it like 1 to 2 days per week. So spending a ton of money on office space, it just isn't needed. And if you can either downsize or remove your office completely, well, that's a whole lot more money that's going to be staying in your pockets. Now, the next one is I stopped outsourcing to professional firms. Now, these are things like speaking to a professional marketing agency and basically handing them a lump sum of money each and every single month for them to run ad campaigns and do SEO and social media scheduling and just everything else involved in marketing. Now, I'm yet to find a marketing company who really delivers a good return on investment. And yes, you might argue that I just haven't found a good marketing agency, but I think the same can be said for graphic design agencies who similarly you can easily and very quickly spend a lot of money with. Now, I've been a big believer of just doing it yourself. And by doing it yourself, I mean to hire somebody else who's got the skills that you need. Now, this means using services like Upwork or People Per Hour. We had some fantastic results hiring a graphic designer from onlinejobs.ph, all at significantly lower cost than hiring an agency. Now, number 3 is that I stopped paying for travel. And this is sort of a double-edged sword. Now, firstly, with COVID, of course, a lot of the world stopped traveling anyway, and now have realized that you can have those same meetings via a video call without wasting hours and, sometimes even days worth of travel. Now, travel takes up a huge amount of time. It's expensive, so why not just skip traveling altogether and do those calls from the comfort of your own home? Now, secondly, there was something that wasn't apparent to me when I first started out of business. Now, I saw lots of my friends jetting off to all sorts of places, and I wondered how they'd afforded it. Now, it turns out lots of them were actually getting those flights either completely for free or significantly discounted because they used their American Express business card in their business purchases. So all you do is you sign up for your own card, spend on it like you normally would, and as you spend, you collect points which then retain their most value when you convert those into like air miles. Now, this isn't a pitch specifically for American Express. There are of course a ton of other like cashbacks and point cards around, but Amex is the first one that I discovered, and I basically used it ever since. I think you can actually get some free points by using my affiliate link down below, so I'll leave that there if you want to check that out. Now, the next thing which had a significant impact on making more money was that I stopped buying stuff that I couldn't afford. And by saying that, what I actually mean is that I implemented a system in my business called Profit First. It is a book by Mike Michalowicz, and it basically trains you in a better way to manage your money. And this wasn't saying I was bad at managing my money, but it has had such an impact on our life that we do this for our business and with our own personal money too. You basically take what you earn each month, or the money that comes into the business each month, and you put a percentage of that money into a separate account or multiple separate accounts. Now, in business, that's separate accounts for your taxes, for payroll, for office equipment, and importantly, for profit. Profit first. In a personal world, that is your bills, house renovations, holiday funds, kids' savings accounts, so on. But what this means is that when you want or you need something, you can only buy it if you have the money physically sat in that relevant account because you've budgeted for that purchase. Now, if the money isn't there, then you'll have to wait until you can afford it, by which time you might have then moved on to something else to buy and actually realized that the purchase wasn't as important as you first thought. Now, number 5, I think we're on now, is about buying cars. Now, it is very easy to be swept into keeping up with the people around you. Bigger houses, bigger cars, like more cars for your staff, like constantly more. But most of the time, company cars aren't really needed anymore. Now, I'll admit, there is a certain tipping point where you need to add up the cost that you pay your staff for your mileage, for them to use their own cars, and compare that to the cost to buy or then lease one of the cars instead. But with a cut down in commuting to work and people working from home more, it just means that you're doing even less miles in those same company cars. And if you are looking to buy a car through the business, only choice you should really be making right now with the mantra of making more money is an electric one. So here in the UK, if you buy a fully electric car that costs you say £50,000, your corporation tax at the end of the year will be around £10,000 less because you bought that car. It's literally the difference with giving the government £10,000 or you keep £10,000. Now, the next one for me is counterintuitive because I actually bought and spend more in the short term to save in the long term. Now, an example of this was one year when we had one of our suppliers going through their special deals, and we could pay a higher monthly fee, but in return we would lock in that we would have unlimited number of users using their software. So I decided that I would rather pay more now to upgrade, even though we didn't need it, because fast forward 6 months or a year, and we would have hired more people, at which point we are now saving money. And over the next few years, that would easily equate to thousands, tens of thousands of pounds saved had we ignored the offer and just paid as we needed them. Now this, of course, isn't always the case. Like normally I would only say to pay for what you need right now, but keep an eye out for these types of deals because they can save you a significant amount of money. Now, something I stopped spending money on was active marketing. And when I say active marketing, I mean marketing that stops bringing leads in as soon as I stop spending money. So that's something like pay-per-click and direct mail. Like instead, choose to invest in passive marketing, like otherwise known as inbound marketing, you've probably heard of before, which basically continues to bring leads in long after you've stopped actively investing like time and money into those things. Now, this is basically just content creation, like creating content and putting it online. It's search engine optimization, like SEO, it's blog posts, it's articles, it's YouTube videos. All of these marketing methods produce results over longer periods of time. And I just like knowing that what I'm investing in today is something that can and will deliver results in the future. Compare this to a Google ad campaign, which could deliver results today, but as soon as I stop, giving Google my money, then that's it. Like the ads are gone. And nobody sees them, no one's gonna click. And that also flows into my thoughts on companies who are struggling to bring leads into their business. So they, the next one, hire a salesperson to come in and fix that problem for them. Only they realize they don't fix the problem, and instead they've just spent a few grand a month, multiplied by however many months they've been working there, and delivered 0 results. And that's because they haven't done the step before that, which is to make your business attractive to new clients and prospects and leads. Now that's both running a good business, but also with marketing that business using those passive or inbound marketing methods that I've just spoken about. And then the last one is a really simple one, but is to go to your bank, export a list of all the money that's left your account in the last 3 months and run through it and mark against those that you don't need or could potentially renegotiate. Now, I was surprised at how much was still there when I looked through mine. Either costs which I'd forgotten about, which we were spending money on each and every single month, or costs which I was able to actually renegotiate with our suppliers to bring our monthly subscription costs down even further. So those could be things like your Apple, Google, Spotify subscriptions, but they could also be subscriptions to your main line of business software that your business runs from. Don't think that you can't negotiate on those two, particularly if you're spending a lot of money on those every single month. As I get older, the more I start thinking about how what I'm spending now will diminish the enjoyment I get later, because my taking those tens, hundreds or thousands, or in some cases tens of thousands that I'm saving by not spending them now, investing them in the right type of assets which increase rather than decrease in value over the years. Even a small amount of money saved now can result in a much bigger and better result for retirement or when I come to sell the business for whatever comes next. So if there was anything useful in here for you, I'd really appreciate a like on the video. Consider subscribing to the channel if you're a business owner, since that's what we talk a lot about here, about how to run a better overall business, including the lessons I learned when running my own £1 million+ business. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Until next time.